Dear friends, English literature, romantic poetry, William Wordsworth's selected poems, odd intimations of immortality, short questions with answers. Short questions 11 to 21. Question 11. For what memories of childhood does the poet feel grateful? Answer. The memory of the period of childhood inspires in the poet a state of constant happiness. He, however, does not feel grateful for the blessings of childhood, such as happiness, freedom, simplicity, and new hope. On the other hand, the poet feels grateful for his persistent doubt about the reality of the natural world and for the faint reminiscence of the high instincts of the child. He has ceaseless doubt whether the objective world which we perceive through our senses is real. This doubt makes this visible world fall away from him and dissolve into nothingness. These doubts are the sublime intuitions about the unreality of this objective world and the reality of a divine presence. And the lofty instincts of childhood make him realize how base and ignoble he is. When a man compares his own base and ignoble instincts with the lofty instincts of childhood, he feels guilty and begins to tremble like a guilty person who has been caught red-handed while committing a crime. Question 12. Why does the poet feel grateful to the memories of childhood? Answer. The poet is thankful for the memories of childhood because they are the true and only source of all the knowledge and the source of supreme light that gives us the insight to look into the deep mysteries of the universe and illuminates our existence. The memory of the inborn feelings of the period of childhood is the guiding star of all our perceptions and beliefs. The earthly light shows the earthly objects, but the heavenly light reveals before us the ultimate truths. So the poet calls the memory of the period of childhood as the fountain of all spiritual light. During childhood, the child is nearer to heaven and so has a vision of his divine origin. The memory of this vision proves to be the source of all our joy. For all these reasons, the poet feels grateful to the memory of childhood. Question 13. What is transcendentalism? Answer. Transcendentalism is to go beyond the limits of human knowledge, experience, or reason, especially in a religious or spiritual way. Transcendentalism is a movement which dominated in English scene between 1835 to 1845. It was essentially religious and laid stress on the importance of individual conscience. It was influenced by the 19th century philosophical idealism and Christian mysticism. The Transcendentalists rejected the authority of religious dogma and believed that each man's inner consciousness contained something divine. They tried to discover in nature God's moral law, and through their personal experiences with God, He reveals His own moral being. They trusted inspiration as a source of artistic creation. They also believed that truth may be achieved by an intuitive process and morality guided by conscience. Question 14. Cite an instance of Wordsworth's transcendentalism from Immortality Ode. Answer. Wordsworth observes natural objects and instinctively reaches spiritual revelation. His observation of outward objects of nature leads him to a transcendental experience. In Immortality Ode, Wordsworth gives expression to his belief in the prenatal existence of human soul. He believes that the human soul leads an existence in heaven before it comes to earth. As we advance in age, the memories of the heavenly glory become dimmer and dimmer, but the recollection of childhood enables us to have glimpses of the sea of eternity when our minds are at rest, calm and undisturbed. The poet expressed this in a beautiful metaphor and likens eternity to a mighty ocean on the shore of which we play as children. Wordsworth says that just as a person who is standing far away from the shore can hear the sound of the waters and the waves of the sea. Similarly, in calm and reflective moments, human beings can catch sight of the immortal sea. He can realize, with the help of his memory and imagination, the state of childhood apparelled in heavenly light. This is an instance of Wordsworth's transcendentalism. Question 15. What laws of grown-up man does Wordsworth refer to in Immortality Ode? Answer. The Immortality Ode is a balance sheet of profit and loss of the grown-up man. In the poem, the poet refers to the loss of the sensuous experience of the grown-up man. It is a loss that seems to leave him a dead thing in a world of life and beauty. While the poet was a child, he saw all the objects of nature clothed in celestial light. He used to enjoy the various objects of nature through senses in his childhood. He appreciated the most commonplace objects of nature such as meadow, grove, and stream. But in his mature years, the dreamlike vividness and splendor have vanished. The beautiful objects of nature, like the rainbow, rose, moonlight, come in their proper light, but the poet does not find the same celestial light in them in his mature years. In the spring season, the birds sing, the lambs bound as to tabor's sound, the waterfalls make a roaring sound. Every beast keeps holiday. Thus, all the earth is gay, but the poet cannot attune his mind to nature's joy because of his loss of heavenly glory. Question 16. What is its compensation? Answer. The poet has his compensation. He thinks that though he has lost something, he has gained sufficient recompense. His gain lies in four things. First, his continuous feeling of interest in nature. The interest in nature which he felt during his childhood will remain unchanged in his mature years. Secondly, he has learned all-embracing sympathy for his fellow men from their suffering. Thirdly, he has learned to believe that there is life beyond death. And fourthly, he has developed a philosophical outlook on life. He can now perceive that even the most commonplace objects of nature hold a deeper significance to him. They reveal to him that all objects of nature are pervaded by the Spirit of God and are thus worthy of being worshipped. Thus, though the poet's loss has been great, his compensation has been even greater. Question 17. What is pantheism? Answer. Pantheism is the belief that God is present in all natural things. It is a doctrine that the whole universe is a manifestation of God. A pantheist believes that God is present in all natural things and that his existence can be identified from the nature of his creation, the universe. Pantheism regards God as a wholly immanent in the world and tries to identify him with him. According to this theory, God is not a transcendental but an immanent being in the spatio-temporal world. In poetry, pantheism presents a belief that all life on earth is divine. Question 18. Cite an example of Wordsworth's pantheistic belief from Immortality Ode. Answer. Wordsworth's greatest contribution to the poetry of nature is his pantheism. In Immortality Ode, he gives expression to his belief that God shines through all the objects of nature, investing them with a celestial light, a light that never was on sea or land. He finds a propounder meaning in the most commonplace objects of nature as he advanced in age. They reveal to him that all objects of nature are pervaded by the Spirit of God and are thus worthy of being worshipped. The poet thus, in his mature years, looks upon nature in a different mood and light. He is not simply fascinated by the outward beauty of the different objects of nature, rather, they inspire in him a profound thought. He begins to reflect how all nature is the embodiment of the divine spirit. Thus, he described nature as a manifestation of God. Question 19. What is an ode? Answer. An ode is a rhymed lyric dignified in style, often in the form of an address. Originally, it was intended to be sung. It deals with a sad theme but ends with consolation. It has complex or irregular metrical form. Odes are of three types: Pindaric, Horatian, and irregular. Number one, the Pindaric ode is written on the model of Greek poet Pindar. It is divided into several sections, each of which has three parts: the strophe, the antistrophe, and the epode. This type of ode was a sort of choral song intended to be sung at a public occasion, for which it is called public ode. And number two, the Horatian ode is named after the Latin poet Horace, which consists of a number of uniform stanzas. This type of ode is written on a private or personal experience, for which it is also called private ode. Number three, the odes which do not follow the Pindaric strophe or the Horatian regular stanzas are called the irregular odes. Question 20. Comment on Immortality Ode as an ode. Answer. The poem Immortality Ode is an ode, that is, a lyric in the form of an address, dignified in style, feeling, and in tone. Number one, an ode is in the form of an address, and Immortality Ode. And in Immortality Ode, Wordsworth addresses childhood. Number two, an ode contains dignified and idealistic subject matter. An Immortality Ode idealizes childhood as the most glorious state of human human existence, and pays eloquent innocence, simplicity, and heavenly association. Number three, an ode deals with the sad theme but ends with consolation. And Immortality Ode deals with the sad theme of the loss of the heavenly glory but ends with the consolation, the compensation for the loss. Number four, Immortality Ode is an irregular ode because of the lack of uniformity in meter and in length of its stanzas. The length of the stanzas varies from 9 to 38 lines, and though mainly written in iambic meter, some lines are in anapaestic meter. But the harmonious flow of music is never missed in the poem. Question 21. What is Wordsworth's idea of immortality of human soul in Intimations of Immortality Ode? Answer. In Immortality Ode, Wordsworth gives expression to his belief in the immortality of human soul. He believes that the human soul leads an existence in heaven before it comes to earth. As we advance in age, the memories of the heavenly glory become dimmer and dimmer, but the recollection of childhood enables us to have glimpses of the sea of eternity when our minds are at rest, calm, or undisturbed. Wordsworth says that just as a person who is standing far away from the shore can hear the sound of the waters and the waves of the sea, similarly, in calm and reflective moments, human beings can catch sight of the immortal sea. He can realize, with the help of his memory and imagination, the state of childhood apparelled in heavenly light. Wordsworth's idea of the pre-existing end immortality of the human soul is derived from Greek philosophers like Pythagoras, Socrates, and Plato. But on the question of soul, he never possesses to be a pure intellectual. The truth of the soul has come to him in flashes, in a glimpse of sense. perceptions, and in sheer abstraction, the truth completely dies out. Wordsworth's doctrine is, in fact, not a theory of knowledge, but a romance of sensation. Thank you, friends, for watching my video.